What's up, guys? It's your boy, the man, the myth, the legend, Pickdroppers, back at it again with an NFL Week 5 post-game review video. Now, in this video, I'm going to be going over what I thought about last week's NFL games. Now, I did play this game, Game 7 of Mutt that you guys are right now seeing, and I did lose, and so at the end of the video it will be a live comm of what the rewards I got from winning. So let me get into the last week's games. So the biggest games in these videos, I'm actually going to be going over my thoughts on the biggest games and what I think of all the division stuff. In the last week's post-game thoughts, I've been going over all the games, but I'm going to change that up this week, and I'm just going to go by the biggest games. Now, the first game that I thought was huge was Arizona coming back and winning their game against San Francisco, and I think this was a huge test against San Francisco to see if Arizona is actually not going to be a good team this year. And it turns out they were able to capitalize on the 49ers' mistakes, and they were able to get the win this week. Now, the next big game I have is Washington-Baltimore. Now, Washington proved that they aren't too bad of a team, and the Ravens proved that they aren't too good. They went down to 3-2, and right now they are in second place in their division, and they're not looking too good. And Washington didn't look too bad. Now, they did look really bad in the run game, but their passing game wasn't too bad. Now, the next game that I thought was big was Philadelphia-Detroit. Now, Detroit was able to knock off Philadelphia, and I was really surprised. Philadelphia just didn't play good on offense, especially in the first quarter, and in the rest of the game, they just weren't good enough. At being down, I think it was something like 14 to 7, or no, I think it was 21-7 or 21-10 at half is just too much of a deficit, and their defense played horrible. And Philadelphia needs to find a way to win the close games, or else they're not going to be able to be a contender in the playoffs. Now, the next game I have on this list that I thought was big was Minnesota crushing Houston. Minnesota went to 5-0 on the year, so they are the only undefeated team left. And I was really surprised. And Houston just looked horrible. I mean, Brock Osweiler looked terrible. The number one wide receiver for Houston was a guy named Fedorowicz. And D-Hop had an mediocre game, but Will Fuller had one catch for 4 yards. And they really needed to get him going. So obviously they got crushed in that game. They lost 31-13, and they were doing bad, like really bad. They weren't clicking on any cylinders. And I think Minnesota's looking like one of the best teams in the league. I don't think they're the best team, but I think they're looking like one of the best. I do think the Patriots, who just beat Cleveland this past week, are the best team in the league. And I think Minnesota is arguably 2 or 3. I put them at 3, and I put Atlanta at 2, but I do think Minnesota is very close. And speaking of Atlanta, I actually have Atlanta versus Denver, and Denver lost that game, and they just got outplayed by Atlanta. And Atlanta had a very good game offensively and defensively, but especially defensively. While Denver did have Paxton Lynch at quarterback, they were able to shut down C.J. Anderson to only 41 yards, and they played really good on defense. And their offense definitely showed up. Tevin Coleman had a huge game in the receiving game and the rushing game. He totaled for 163 total yards and a touchdown. Definitely a very good game for him. And Atlanta just outplayed Denver, especially since Atlanta got 6 sacks and Denver only got 2. And Atlanta just outplayed Denver. And that was the main part and the reason why Atlanta was able to win that game. Now, the next game I have on this list that was huge was Dallas versus the Bengals. And the Dallas I actually have as my number 4 team, and I think they're looking amazing. I mean, Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott are looking great. And I don't know what Cincinnati's doing. I mean, they got ran all over on defense. And Andy Dalton just had a bad game. And A.J. Green had another mediocre game. 4 catches, 50 yards. And that's just not going to do it. Almost half his yards came on 1 catch. And Cincinnati's defense got exposed. I really don't know what Cincinnati's going to be able to do. Now, they are 2-3. And I do think they will be able to come back and be able to get a wild card spot in the playoffs. But the Steelers are running away with the division after their really good win against the Jets, which I actually went to the game, and that was a great, great game to watch. But Andy Dalton just didn't play too well. While he did have a 70% completion percentage, the eye test saw that he got it in garbage time, saw that he just wasn't playing good. They got 14 points in the fourth quarter. That means that they got 0 points in the first 3 quarters. That's horrible. You're not going to be able to win that way. And obviously they lost. Their first touchdown came with just over 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And then their second touchdown came with 2:39 left in the third quarter. And that's not going to be able to, or in the fourth quarter. And that's not going to be able to win you games. I don't know what they were doing on defense or on offense. They just weren't producing points, wasn't able to stop the other team. Now, the next game that I thought was very interesting was Oakland versus San Diego. San Diego's punter, first he had a horrible punt. I think it was something like 17 yards in the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, he dropped the snap. He dropped the snap on the game-tying kick in the fourth quarter and for the field goal. And so San Diego wound up losing that game, even though they played really good. And then after their game, there's controversy over the San Diego kicker laughing with Janikowski. A lot of people didn't like that. I don't really have any thoughts on that. I mean, he can do what he wants. He can laugh after the game, and it wasn't really his fault why they lost. But tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Now, the next game that I thought was pretty big was the Giants versus Green Bay. Now, this was a really good game. It was Sunday night, and I thought it was a really good game. Aaron Rodgers looked pretty good. He didn't look amazing, but he didn't look horrible. But Eli Manning looked really bad. He completed 51.4% of his passes. And OBJ had another mediocre game. Sterling Shepard had 2 catches for 14 yards. And Victor Cruz didn't even catch the ball. You're not going to be able to win like that. The number 2 wide receiver was the running back. And the running back got 22 yards. I'm pretty sure it's Bob Rainey. It's B. Rainey. I don't know his first name. But he played really bad. Only got 22 yards rushing. Their number 2 running back, Darkwa, who was arguably their number 1, only got 11 yards rushing. He only averaged 1.6 yards per rush. And it was just a bad game altogether. They only had 15 rushes, totaling 44 yards, which is definitely not going to win you any football games, or 43 yards, sorry. And that's definitely not going to win you any games. And B. Rainey, if you take away his longest run, which was 14 yards, he had 4 rushes for 8 yards, which is averaging 2 yards per rush, which is definitely not going to do it. And I feel like that's why they lost the game. They weren't able to run the ball. And on the other side, Aaron Rodgers had a really good game, threw to Randall Cobb for 108 yards, threw to Devontae Adams for 85 yards, a touchdown, threw for Jordy Nelson for 38 yards and a touchdown. Just kept throwing the ball around. Great game by the Green Bay Packers offense. And their defense also played really good, holding the Giants to only 9 points in the first 3 quarters, and 16 points overall, and just a great game overall by the whole Green Bay staff. Now, the last game I have on this list is Tampa Bay, Carolina. Now, I don't even know where to begin. Carolina is now 1-4 on the season. I mean, they didn't have Cam Newton, but still, they need to win that game. And somehow they found a way to lose the game, and they just played horrible. I mean, Derek Anderson, while he is a backup, he turned the ball over twice on an interception, and then he fumbled the ball once, which he lost. The running game was okay, 18 rushes for 85 yards, and then Fozzie Whitaker, 5 rushes for 45 yards. Artis Payne was their main rusher. So they had a really good rushing game. I'll say that. But it just didn't matter because of all the turnovers, 4 turnovers. And Carolina's defense played horrible again, forcing 0 turnovers, forcing 0 sacks, or getting 0 sacks. And they just played horrible overall. And Carolina was 1 for 8 on 4th downs. And even though Carolina had almost 100 more total yards, they weren't able to get any points. They got 14 points. That just came in the third quarter. That means the 3 other quarters, they got 0 points. That's just not going to do it. And their defense all around played horrible. You got to get some sacks. You got to keep pressuring Jameis Winston. And you just got to play way better than that. And Jameis Winston threw for over 200 yards. And Jacquizz Rodgers rushed for over 100 yards. So pretty good rushing game by him. And that's all I really got to say. Carolina really needs to do something about their defense. And Tampa Bay almost had 10 more minutes of possession. So that also played a factor. And I don't know what Carolina's going to be able to do. I mean, going 1-4 in your first 5 games, they're going to need to go something like 9-2 to end the season to be able to even make the playoffs. Maybe even 10-1 with the way Philadelphia and Dallas are winning. Now, since we do have a couple minutes left before I'm going to send you to the gameplay, I'm actually going to talk about who I think right now is going to win all 8 divisions and why. I think New England's going to win their division because they have a great quarterback and they already have a great lead, and I just think they're going to crush away and blow away their opponents. I think the Steelers will win their division. I feel like they have one of the best offenses in the league, and I think their defense is playing really good right now. I think Houston will win their division because of their defense and their offense, and I don't think Indianapolis is going to be able to do anything, and I think they'll force too many turnovers. I think Denver will win their division because I think they have one of the best defenses in the league. I think Dallas will win their division because they already have a big lead, and I think the rookies are playing great right now on offense, and I just think they will definitely win their division. I think Minnesota will win their division. I feel like they have too much of a lead. Their defense is playing too good, and I feel like they're right now doing just too good on defense for anybody to put up points on them. Now, I think Atlanta will win their division because of Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, and I think their offense is right now exploding, and their defense is playing really good, and they have a huge lead, 2-game lead on the rest of their division. And then lastly, I think Seattle will win the game, or win their division, because I feel like they have one of the best defenses in the league, and I think their offense is right now clicking, and I think they'll do very well this season, and that's pretty much it. So right now, I think all the division winners will win their division, and I think it will stay like that. I don't know who I think is going to win the Super Bowl right now. I still think the Steelers will just because of their offense. But tell me what you guys think in the comments down below, and I'm going to get you guys to the pack opening that I did for the rest of the season. See you guys then. So guys, this is actually, I just lost that game. I quit because it was getting too late. And I'm going to show you guys what I got from winning 5 games. Definitely not a lot, but hopefully the rewards that I get can help my team. I do get a 1 competitive badge. I thought I'd get more than that. Oh, because I still get the old rewards. I thought they said we would get the new rewards. I guess not. Dang. That sucks. So this is what I got. I guess. That was pretty bad. Yeah. You guys saw I am trying to get my team to look better, and I got abominated that last game. And I'm going to upgrade my team, and hopefully I can get a win. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and write a comment down below on what you would like to see next. It's your boy Pickdroppers, and I'm out. Peace.